Negotiation is a numbers game, so you can get rejected on purpose. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that when you're working on something, let's say you're trying to raise a certain amount of money, or you're trying to make a certain amount of revenue, so a certain amount of sales in a given time, it's a numbers game. Let's use the example of you want to make $10,000 in the next 30 days. You have an offer that you sell that costs $1,000. You know that for every 5 phone calls, Zoom calls, or in-person meetings you have that tries to sell this product, you get 1 sale. So what does that mean? That means you have to have 50 of those meetings, right? 50 calls, 1 out of 5. So 10 will say yes. 10 times 1,000 equals $10,000. It is as simple as that. It is a numbers game. When you know that there's a numbers game for almost every negotiation, every transaction, it becomes less personal and it becomes less of a risk for you. Because if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you can do almost anything. If you're new to this channel, my name is Arlan, and I went from being homeless to generating millions of dollars in revenue and investing in more than 200 companies. Before I started my venture fund, I was actually in the business of live music production and concert touring. When I first got into the business, when I wanted to make it a serious career for myself, I didn't have any connections. So I started by thinking of it as a numbers game. I've been doing this for decades. 15 years ago, I sent out 100 emails to tour managers and production managers that I found online. And this was 15 years ago, so it wasn't as easy to find people as it is today. And I sent them each a unique email that told them my work in the indie music world, how I had helped a Norwegian pop punk band go from their garage to touring the US 2 times in a row, and my sheer passion and will and my determination to do whatever it took ethically to have a career in touring. Out of those 100 highly researched and well thought out emails that took me about 2 months to complete, 20 tour managers and production managers responded. 3 of them agreed to have a meeting. And one of those meetings turned into my first international touring gig, where I went across the country and the world for 2 years with the same internationally known artist. If I hadn't done that, and if I had stopped at the rejection of, again, 1 out of every 5 people not even responding and 97% not agreeing to meet with me, then I wouldn't have been able to go on tour, make a living from it, and see the world. Being on tour was something I wanted to do since I was 13 years old, and I finally was able to do it in this way. So I know firsthand how knowing the numbers game can be to your benefit. So going back to our earlier case study, let's say you have an offer that costs $1,000. You want to make $10,000, 10 sales this month. You have 30 days to do it. You know that 1 out of every 5 calls you're able to close, 20% conversion rate. What are you going to do? Are you going to stop at 10 calls, at 20 calls, at 30 calls? No, you're going to go to 50 calls. And you're going to get rejected on purpose, because the people who reject you are the ones who are not right for the offer. Maybe they can't afford the offer. And then later on, when you're trying to teach them something, it'll be harder for them to keep up financially. And then they won't have a success, and then they won't turn into a referral customer. Or maybe they don't believe that you're the person who can help them. They understand the problem, but they don't believe you're the solution. Would you rather spend all of your time forcing them to believe, or would you rather find someone, the 1 in 5, who believes you, who trusts you, and who is willing to work with you? So when you're on these calls or in these meetings with people that you realize they're not going to convert, they're not my people, they're not the ones who are meant for this particular offer, you can drop all of that feeling of it being personal. So instead, you can use the time to learn something. Learn from their pushback. Learn from how you're speaking. Use it for reps, like, building muscle. They're helping you in a way because they're helping you go through the reps, the thousands of calls you'll probably have to make to become an amazing salesperson. And the most successful people I know are amazing salespeople, because they can get people behind their mission and they can get people excited about their offer. So if you're afraid to even start because you're afraid of the rejection, think of the rejection as part of the process. Think of it as you're on the right track. As long as every few times you are getting a yes, then The rejection is part of it and actually healthy in the process. You're weeding out the people who are not right for that particular offer. So persistence is key. Keeping on your grind is key. That is how you succeed, especially early days when you don't have a lot of resources, when you don't have a lot of money or a network. If you use the resources of time and effort, then you can get to the money and to the other resources. And your success doesn't require a lot of yeses, especially if you've learned how to price yourself well, if you've studied what people need, and if you can give somebody a transformational value. Expect rejection. If you're not getting rejection, you're not taking enough risk. And if you don't take enough risk, you don't get a high enough return on investment. If there's one thing I've learned after investing in more than 200 startups, is that if you're not getting rejection, you're not taking enough risk. If there's not a problem or an objection, there's not enough risk. If everybody's agreeing with you, then that means it's trendy. And if you're not taking enough risk, you have a lower chance of a higher ROI, return on investment. That can be money, that can be time, that can be network, that can be fulfillment. You also want to tailor your approach for each person. Everybody is a little different or a lot different. Everyone is unique. You can learn certain things that will appeal to a lot of people, but in all of your conversations, your emails, they should be unique to that person, because that person on the other end is human and is taking it personally. It is their money that they're trading with you. It is their time and their hope and belief in you. So give them that unique space they deserve. I believe that this helped me when I sent out the 100 emails, because the 20 people who wrote me back, they knew that I was talking to them directly and not just spray and pray. Don't take rejection personally. It is a numbers game. It is business. Be about your business. It will take you a while to get used to this. It doesn't happen overnight, but let me tell you, it is so, so helpful when you get out there and you have this mindset shift. If you're going for a certain goal, whether it's making a certain amount of money, getting a certain amount of yeses for something, go out there, give it your all, be ethical, be kind, and know that what is yours will come to you.